back and land because we're going to do a missing man. Brian Forsyth, who was our head timer, he's been helping us the whole time. That's Brian. And we're doing a missing man for Brian. He's really good.
Missing man formation. Look at these guys. Brian Forsyth, this is for you, buddy.
My grandmother was Martha Jackson, but everybody called her Dear. When Dear got old and when Dear got near the end of her life, her memory began to fade, and she did not always recognize all of us, and she didn't always remember us. So before I went into Marine Corps boot camp, I went to see Dear, and I went to tell her how much I love her and that I was going away for a few months and that I would come see her when I got finished with my training. And Dear looked at me, and she looked me right in the eye and told me that she loved me too. And it was one of those times where it was a connection between she and I. It was her. She was there. It wasn't the Dear that we'd known of that current day. It was the Dear that I'd always known all of my life. And we had that connection and we had that moment. So I went off to boot camp, and in boot camp, you only get information from outside boot camp in a couple of different ways. The mail comes in through boot camp, and then otherwise, if it's super important, you get a Red Cross message. And I got a message from the Red Cross. And so the drill instructors brought me into the duty hut, and they broke character. They were no longer these incredibly difficult and stern drill instructors. They were human beings. They said, "Listen, we got a note. Here it is for you." And my grandmother Dear had passed, and they asked me. They said, "You have a choice. You can stop your training here, go back to the funeral, and come back and resume your training where you left off." And I said, no, I've already had the moment that I had with her. We had that connection. We had our moment. So I tell you that story because my dear friend, the late Brian Forsyth, had stage 4 colon cancer. He's one of the pilots that was a huge part of the High Sierra fly-in, and he passed away before this year's event. Before he passed away, Brian went into hospice, and Brian he knew that this was the end. And he and I were texting, and some other folks were texting, and he was up to having friends every once in a while, having friends over. So there was a time when myself and Kathy Page and Kyle Bushman and Kevin Quinn, we all went over and we sat with him for a little bit, and we talked with them, and it was really nice. It was really good. And there was another time where my dear friend Bruce Graham and Bill Holmes and I went over to see him again, and Brian was it was pretty close to the end, and I'm not sure if he remembered that he was having company that day, but everything was fine, and we talked, and there was a moment when he looked at me and he said, "It was good to see you, Carl. It's good to see you, Carl." And it's the way that Brian Forsyth used to always look at people. He had this side eye he would always give you, and he looked at me that way, and he turned up the corner of his grin, and that was the Brian that I knew. And that moment hit me. I knew there was something about that moment, and I think it's because everybody knew that this was close to the end, and that was the case. Not long after that, Brian passed away, and this year at the High Sierra Fly-In, we honored his memory. Kevin Quinn brought out his ashes, and a lot of everybody there took a moment of silence for Brian, and then we had a missing man formation where Jeff Whiteley and Luke Akins and Trent Palmer pulled out they came across the playa, and they all blasted smoke, and then Trent Palmer pulled out the missing man formation. And it was really touching. It was really beautiful. And it was really good to have done that for Brian. Brian was a big part of the High Sierra Fly-In. And the friendship that we have with him is very indicative of the friendships that you make at High Sierra Fly-In. That's what makes that event special. And that was the exact same experience that we had this year. This year was a weather event where on the week of the event, all the pilots come in from all different parts of the country and some different parts of the world. And when weather happens, everyone has to adjust and divert and negotiate the weather. And this year, people had landed outside Dead Cow, some in Reno, some in other parts of Nevada, some that were actually on the outskirts of the playa itself. And everybody waited until after the storm had passed. On Thursday, I came to Blake Nervino's place, and Blake Nervino and his father, Dave Nervino, always host a great time out there. They always have more food than you can possibly eat, and it's a beautiful private airstrip just south of Dead Cow. So myself and some others were camped out there on Thursday. On Friday morning, the weather broke, and then everybody just descended on Dead Cow. And that lake bed went from a literal lake bed with inches of water on top to just dead flat and just dry as a bone. And we raced on Saturday morning, and it was fantastic. And during race day, arguably one of the best parts was Rod Hewitt and his airplane Angry Kitten came in second place, second only to Steve Henry. And everybody that knows Steve Henry knows that Steve Henry is very talented at what he does. His airplane is an incredible machine. Rod Hewitt says that he built this thing out of all these different parts, and here he is, and he came up from nothing, and he came in second place. And so the Angry Kitten came in second place. Why Rod and Kelsey called their airplane the Angry Kitten, I still don't know. I think that's something that you guys should ask them and let me know, report back, because I think it's funny. So we had a great time this year. Everybody did what we normally do. I was also very fortunate to be able to do some work with the folks at Cub Crafters. Jackie Birch went out and found me. I couldn't, it was so funny. She literally put out an all points bulletin on Facebook. If I were Carl Costas right now, where would I be? Well, it was sunset, and I was about to be going out on the parade around the playa that we do at that time. But then I got a phone call from my homie, Christian, on the air traffic control tower.
I was born ready, baby.
He's like, hey, Jackie's looking for you. I'm like, I'm right here. Here where? She's going to start at the north end at the large flag, and she's going to make her way all the way down until she finds you. And lo and behold, like 15 minutes later, she rolls up. And she threw me in the back of a Cub Crafters airplane with Brad Dam, and we went out and we chased Mark Patey, and he chased us in his Pilatus. And it was one airplane that does more than 300 miles an hour and one that does as little as 30-something miles an hour, both in formation, and all three of us flying over a pyramid lake. It was unbelievable. Made some incredible photos. I believe that Brad and Jackie have plans for those photographs, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That should be very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed working with those folks, and we've got much more. I've got much more content to share. Also, there are people that whenever this happens, everybody just opens themselves up to everybody else. Bo Ellis opens up his house to everybody, all the pilots to come in. He's always the first one out, always giving pyre-ups about the weather and the different landing spots and when it was raining, what the actual conditions on the playa looked like. Bo is a incredible resource for all that information. He lives right there, has his own strip, and he really just opens it up for everyone and makes it a wonderful thing. But my last point I want to leave you with, one night I was hanging out having dinner with the air traffic control group, and Ryan Van Haren was getting a back rub from his wife, Darian. I told Christian, the other air traffic controller, you need to slip your hand in there and take Darian's place and rub his back. And then we're going to send Darian around to the front. And so we did. And so Christian's rubbing Ryan's back. And Ryan doesn't miss a beat, didn't think a thing was wrong. And then Darian runs around the front, and she's in Ryan's face, and Christian's rubbing his back where Darian used to be rubbing his back. And she's kissing him on the mouth, and then Christian's rubbing his back. It takes that dude, I don't know how long before he finally realized what was going on. And it was one of the funniest things in the world. And that's the kind of camaraderie that you find at the High Sierra Flying. So with that, I want to leave you with that. So until the next adventure, do me a favor, be good to each other, and be well.
7 miles out.
All right, Carl, come here.
Hey, man.
What'd you think of their 172 landing? You gotta come over here and we'll give you the
Who was the last guy that came in?
So Juan.
Hey, Juan, my name's Carl. Carl, great to meet you, man. You crushed it, dude. That
And
was
then
awesome. Yeah.
Jet was with him.
Hey, Carl. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as
So we're
well.
doing this thing. All right, hand check. Let's see your hand again. I think you still got a little bit going. Just a little bit going. We're gonna with you, Jeff. Let's see your hand.
Like a surgeon.
There's a little bit. There's a little bit there.
Who holds the magic key? Oh, baby, I'm a lifetime.
What I'm eating, right? First time you've ever seen fire and hail, huh?
That's what I'm thinking of. Baby, I'm a lifetime.
The Blake Nervino. Look at him.
I'm from a kind of a country ranching type background, and you know, back in the old days, the cowboys would get together around the campfire and say, you know, I can rope better than you, I can ride faster than you, I can do all this. And it's really, well, so eventually they started getting together and have to, well, if they're going to say that, you got to prove it. So what do? They wind up coming together, get the little competitions going, and soon enough it becomes the rodeo. And now we have rodeos where cowboys get together and see who can do the riding, roping, and branding and all that stuff better and faster. So that's kind of what stole drag is, stole competitions in general. You know, backcountry pilots, people that like to land off airfields, you know, think they can do it better than the other guy. And so they said, well, we got to come together and prove it. And so we get together at these things like this and we prove it. But you know what? Even when you don't win, it's just fun. And I always tell people I'm not really a competitor. I'm not really in the competition. I'm just kind of a backstage pass, and I get to participate by enrolling. So I'm just a spectator with a backstage pass for these competitions, but it's a lot of fun.
3, 2, 1,
Good run.
Sean Smith right here. You're going against the world famous Kathy Page. Good luck. Noah, good to meet you, man.
should know Ty and Jonas are racing first. So you should be like, hey, I should probably be by.
Dresser in pajamas because I really, really wanna, because I really, really wanna. I wanna be that good. I wanna be that good. I wanna be that good. I wanna be that good.
To our friends.
Cheers. Chin chin.
Cheers.
Cheers. Brian.
Cheers.
Brian and Dooley.